buckle up, because what I've got to show you is the double fucking standards in the British press, British media. The reality that this so-called charity that I'm about to show you a couple of clips from have, by their very nature, been allowed to be charities for so long while spewing hatred to Muslims is fucking baffling. It is an example of the double standards here in the British press. You see, because if we had a Muslim charity that was spreading hate about any other religion, it will be labelled a terrorist group almost over fucking night. So I'm going to play you the first clip. I'm going to have a come back. We're going to have a discussion about it. I'm going to play you the second clip, and then you're going to see what I'm talking about. And let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it, because these are real things here in the UK that the British public are completely oblivious to, and the British political and media are apathetical to. Why? Because it affects us Muslims. Anyway, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Please enjoy.
The charity Hindu Swamsevak Sangh UK, commonly known as HSS, was registered in 1974. HSS enjoys charitable status because it
advances the Hindu religion and educates the public in the Hindu ideals and way of life,
as this promotional video demonstrates. But we've heard allegations that in private it's actually also teaching young Hindus to denigrate other religions.
So as you've just seen, this charity has only just come to the surface, but it's been around for decades, spewing this type of hatred. I have a small bit of a news. The teacher, the one that I'm going to show you in the second clip, has been around in that charity for decades. So he's holding the same kind of ideological bullshit decades later. This tells you everything you need to know about how we Muslims are continuously under attack. Continuously under attack. Now I want you to stay for the whole of my video, okay? I want you to stay for the whole of my video so that you can see what I want you to do. Because we now need to be more mobile. We now need to take action against these Hindutva, their charities, their internal hatred, neo-Nazi level hatred against Muslims. We need to take action. And the way we do that is communication. And the way we do that is through articulation. And the way we do that is through group pressure. We have to pressure the government to both shut down this charity and to label the Hindutva as literal terrorists, because they'd fucking do it for us. And that's what I have a problem with. Watch the next clip.
To see if we can find out more, our second reporter, Ravi, is going undercover to attend the HSS annual leadership camp at a school in Hertfordshire. In a book published during the Second World War, Golwalker wrote,
to keep up the purity of the race and its culture, Germany shocked the world by purging the country of the Semitic races, the Jews. Germany has also shown how well-nigh impossible it is for races and cultures, having differences going to the root, to be assimilated into one united whole. A good lesson for us in Hindustan to learn and profit by.
A teacher's recommending the children buy Golwalker's more moderate book that's on sale at the camp.
For anyone else that's interested, a bunch of thoughts by Guruji.
What's the last one called? Bunch of Thoughts.
But this book still contains a chapter entitled Internal Threats, with the subcategories the Muslims, the Christians and the Communists. At his first Hindu history class, Ravi discovers that teaching the children to distrust other religions isn't just confined to textbooks. It's also a key message in lessons. Some of the boys here are just 13 years old. They're taught about great moments in India's history.
First democracy to elect woman prime minister is India. India is the 7th nuclear power in the world. Now it is 4th.
But they're told these are exclusively Hindu achievements.
These are all the things credit to Hindus, not everybody.
Ravi discovers Hindu nationalism is a regular theme in this teacher's lessons. The teacher asks a boy to recap a previous session.
So it was an agenda that the British had against the Hindus in India to try and make them feel inferior and make them feel lesser than them.
In another lesson, the teacher goes even further.
To destroy the Hindu history is the secret conspiracy of the Christians.
20 minutes later, he dismisses Buddhism as just Hinduism in disguise.
So 2005 years back was the Buddha. He has spread the message of Buddhism, which is nothing but part of Hinduism.
But the religion that's criticised the most is Islam. And the teacher doesn't just confine his role to history. He's also more than happy to tell the children about the present day.
Do you think Muslims are the biggest problem?
For everybody, for everybody.
Ravi finds the teacher taking an even harsher line on Muslims after class.
See, if it comes to Islam, they are the world's squarest religion and they don't have common sense to find out what is humanity and all that. But
Our reporter Ravi is himself Hindu,
largest number.
but the language and form of the religion being taught to these young boys is alien to him. So he decides to challenge the teacher.
Aren't we taught to try and go out there and get world peace through non-violent actions?
Ravi is interrupted by a fellow classmate.
You can't really unify with Muslims.
I just put it out there, like, it's two different
You
things.
can't unify with Muslims. It doesn't work.
Nowhere it works. Not in America, not in Germany, not in India, not in Bangladesh. Nowhere. But there are some good Muslims, but they can be counted on fingers.
After class, Ravi speaks to the students.
So as you've seen, you've seen the two clips I've given. I'm not giving the entire thing, because I think it might get me flagged. So I'm going to be completely honest about that. But the two clips that I've played you come from a documentary, specifically about the Hindutva and their charities that have been around. I will try to find the original link for it, to put it in my chat so you can get to it. But the reality is that the British press have been sat on this probably for, excuse me, sat on this for a long time. You know they have, and they've just waited for the right time for it to come out. This is too convenient, far too convenient, for this to have come out just after the Leicester punch-ups. So it's to make themselves feel relevant towards this. But this is bullshit. They must have had their suspicions about this for ages. Someone from over decades of this time must have said something about these books, about these teachers. And the police have done nothing. And the fucking politicians have done nothing. Brothers and sisters, we now need to raise this with all of our imams. We now need to raise this with all of our sheikhs. You need to have the courage to go and speak at Speaker's Corner to Ali Dawah, to speak to Mohammed Hijab, to speak to anybody. I don't care who they are. The volume for this, a charity that has existed for 4 decades, give or take, since the 80s, my entire life, is allowed to continue in this raison d'etre, in this mentality, in this social format. If a Muslim charity for 4 decades have been doing this, we'd have been shut down tomorrow morning. But because it's Hindu, because they're a counterbalance to China, nobody wants to fucking do anything about it. And my people suffer. My Indian brothers and sisters suffer. Well, fuck this, okay? We need to make noise. And we need to communicate. We need to speak up for each other more. And it doesn't matter that the Indian Muslim community aren't suffering as much as our Palestinian brothers and sisters, or the horrible things that are going on in Iran that are being painted by Western media as a means to try and attack Islam. No, we need to concentrate on these bigger pictures as well. We cannot leave our Indian brothers and sisters to just defend themselves, no matter how large their community is. We have a moral, social duty to aid our brothers and sisters. And let me be boilerplate on this. This is not all Hindus. Hinduism is generally quite quiet, quite peaceful. But this is a nationalistic form of Hinduism that is run by the Prime Minister of India and is perpetrated We've seen it in social media, brothers and sisters. We've seen it particularly, and we need to communicate better with each other. Those of you who see my video, those of you who spread my video, please, please, please speak to your imams, speak to your scholars, speak to your sheikhs, speak to the influencers. Take it to anybody you feel that you're capable of doing so that they can see the reality. We must now unite to have that charity pulled down because of its hate speech. Because let's be frank about it, they're talking hate speech about Christians, about Muslims. They're calling Buddhists just, Hindu light, as they literally insulted them in the clip. This is the nature we live in, and we need to be willing and able to stand up to this garbage. And I have no particular taste whatsoever to sit here and allow this to slide. That in my country, that anybody who has a warped view of Islam can immediately be called a terrorist. Alhamdulillah, fair enough, that's fine. But anybody who has a warped view of Hinduism, the political and social elite drag their fucking heels. So this is one of those moments where everybody has to be on board. Everybody has to talk to people. You have to spread the message. And I don't even like asking people to share this, but I am. Share my video. Get the message out about this British charity. Even if I'm a cacophony of multiple voices, even if you're just sharing one and you see another one and you see another one and you see another one, just do it. The volume is what we need to raise. We need to force the volume to raise. Because by forcing the volume to raise, brothers and sisters, we are making enough noise that the political elite have to pay attention. It is our lack of communication that led to the problems in Leicester. It is the lack of communication that goes on in the assault and batteries in London. It is the lack of us as an ummah here in the UK being able to talk to each other that causes these problems. And that is what I wanted to pass today. Please speak about this to everyone around you. If you're a British Muslim, please, please talk about this around you. Thank you for staying to the end. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and of course, as always, subscribe. I put out videos every week.